With rumors of Metalfoes being introduced in Blazing Vortex, I think it's time that we talk about the brief history of this pendulum deck. This is actually one of my favorite pendulum decks in history, as I took this one to most events. I really didn't care for many other pendulum decks other than this one. I didn't really care for the pendulum mechanic at all, but this one sort of made the pendulum mechanic a little bit more bearable and a little bit more tolerable for me. The Metalfoes is basically a deck that when you use their scales, you would pop another card on the field and then get some advantage from it by either getting another Metalfoes or something of that nature. The deck was relatively successful from 2016 to 2017, and even had a few tops here and there in 2018 and in 2019. The main reason why this deck was super good was because it also utilized the Majespecter Engine, which you would play 3 Majespecter Bumpoku and 1 Majespecter Kieran. But we're going to go over this sort of expose of their Blazing Vortex setup in a shop in the OCG, which alludes to Metalfoes. And obviously, if you're looking at this guy's picture, he looks really like a Metalfoes. In fact, he looks kind of like, I think, Silvered or something like that. Not Silver. He looks like Gold Driver, to be honest with you. He looks really like a Metalfoes monster, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were Metalfoes monsters in here, and I'm really excited for that. We got the tweet here. I have it actually translated over here in the window over here, but I just want to go over some of the artwork that we got here. We're going to open up a Twitter here. Cancel. We're going to do that. Going to look at these. Yep, definitely look like Metalfoes monsters up here. Like, they definitely look like they fit that theme. They're definitely new. They're not really anything that I've seen before. Definitely interesting. So I got the tweet over here translated. We got, it said, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG Display Contest 2020. From tomorrow, the shops handling the Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG Edition Y will display the sales floor using the illusion card illustrations of Blazing Vortex. This shop has expanded in advance. This is Satellite Shop Tokyo Akihabara. So they are kind of just setting this up. I was kind of translating this to see maybe if there was like anything that they would reference Metalfoes directly, but they don't. But let's just go over some of the brief history of Metalfoes in general. Here we go. Let me fix this window real quick. That way it's not all wonky. It won't let me fix it while I'm recording, I guess. Either way, really just here for the deck list. Not really here for what's on the side of the screen here. We got this is the first place deck profile from YCS Mexico in 2016 by Adrian Espinoza, who was playing the Majespecter Engine as well as playing some other cool, interesting little cards that you might notice are currently forbidden and limited. So we're going to go over the deck list as a whole. We got the 3 Volflame, 1 Qliphort Scout, and Monolith. This was used to summon Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is in the extra deck down here. I'm not going to go over the side deck because it's not really relevant to what we're doing. So that's all there is to it. He's playing 2 Gold Driver, which was actually kind of interesting considering the fact that you kind of wanted to see your low scales more than you wanted to see your high scales because they go from 1 to 8. But you are playing 3 silver. So I think oh no, you're playing 1 or 2 of one of the high scales and 1 of low scales here. But it was kind of interesting. I didn't really understand it at the time when I was playing. I thought, straight 3 of all of them because we wanted to see most of them all the time, except for maybe Steel Ren. But even Steel Ren had its upsides. So yeah, that actually looks like Steel Ren now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, we got the whole Metalfoes backers here. Like I said, the Qliphort Scout and the Monolith were used to make Cyber Dragon Infinity. 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Now there was this really neat stuff with the Mirage Dragon. If you guys never seen this card before, I understand it's not too old, but it's not too recent either. It's once per turn. If a face-up Odd Eyes Pendulum monster you control is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 card in your Pendulum Zone, and if you do place a 1 face-up Odd Eyes Pendulum monster in your extra deck from your Pendulum Zone, except this card. While an Odd Eyes monster is in your Pendulum Zone, quick effect, you can target 1 Odd Eyes monster you control. For the first time, it would be destroyed by battle or card effect. This turn, it is not destroyed. So basically what you would do is you would summon one of the... You would either summon Odd Eyes Pendulum, which really didn't matter that much. You probably didn't summon this much. You didn't really use it on this effect, or you activate on stuff like Rebellion Dragon or Vortex Dragon to protect it from battle once a turn. and once a tournament, won by battle or card effects. Excuse me. It was kind of a neat engine. It was kind of unique for what it was, and it certainly played a lot into the favor. As well as you can also use it for Odd Eyes Fusion, which was pretty good, as well as Sky Iris as well. So it was pretty nice. Kieran, everyone knows how monstrous Kieran is. Basically, a card with infinite bouncing power. It's infinite disruption as long as you can target another pendulum monster in the monster zone. It's really good. So this card would absolutely not be able to come back in the game today. It would actually wreck so much. Pendulums would get a huge boost from this card. Bumboku would actually receive a huge buyout almost immediately, and then the game would just be over, and you'd have the Bumbokus to search your Kieran. And this card worked when it was normal or special summoned. There was also some people tinkering around back during this time with the counter trap. You would, if you already drew like your Kieran, you would pendulum summon this card, or you would summon this card, and then you would just get the trap, which was an extra added layer of protection, which was interesting. Gofu. Now Gofu is actually interesting in this deck. It wasn't used for Link combos because this was way before Links were even kind of conceived, to be honest with you. This was actually used to make any level 8 synchro monster you wanted. It was really good. You would summon this with like Silvered, or you would summon this with like any why does it have levels? This doesn't normally have levels, but you summon this with Silver, and then you would make like Void Ogre Dragon or something like that, because it required a Dark Tuner. You make Void Ogre Dragon or Stardust Spark Dragon or Ignister Prominence, which was super good at the time as well. Also, you would play Jowgen. Now, this would be probably at the very end of your turn. You would special summon Jowgen as you would do all your plays, and you would set up like maybe a Void Ogre Dragon. You would set up the Kieran. You maybe would set up the Infinity if your hand was super nutty, and then you would just have this card in your hand, just like chilling in defense position. Your opponent can't special summon, and your opponent has to fight through 2 Omni Negates and a bounce. You might even, if your hand is really nutty, you probably would have the Vortex Dragon set up as well, but that was not likely at all, which was another Omni Negate that you could use. Another interesting fact is in the extra deck, but we're going to go over that in a second. You got the 2 Painful Decision. This was basically to summon or to add any of your normal monsters that you wanted. It was pretty good. 2 Pot of Desires. This was back when Pot of Desires was $70. I think it was actually $70 to $80, maybe even $90 at the time. But it was super good. It was people were super on the fence for this card about this card for the longest time, but it sort of came around, and everyone was playing it. Odd Eyes Fusion, obviously, to get your Vortex Dragon. Nowadays, you can just easily get your Odd Eyes Fusions without using this card, so you don't really need it. Metalfoes Fusion, one of the best fusion cards ever printed. It was so good, even Sky Strikers played it, even though they didn't play any Metalfoes monsters. It was a means of recycling itself, and you could just draw cards and you can get advantage for it. It was super good. This card was actually, because people were actually considering banning this card in a lot of ways, but I mean, it's not really not that scary. Come on, guys. 1 Terraforming to search out your Sky Irises, which was used to make your Odd Eyes cards not targetable. Pretty good card. Summoner's Art was used to search out your Qliphort Scout and or your Volflame if you really needed it. Counter was a pretty cool card. If a card you would control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you just special summon a Metalfoes from your deck, and then if you can banish this card, and then add a Metalfoes Metal Monster from your extra deck to your hand. It would just be a really nice way to recur some of your cards if you needed it, as well as a free summon. It's still good to this day, I think. And the Vanity's Emptiness is Vanity's Emptiness. We don't really dog on this card. This card can never come back. Even though the OCG's had it for years, but whatever. Totem Bird is actually interesting. It requires 2 level 3 wind monsters, so there'd be some times where you would have multiple Bumhoku in your hand, and you would go through your Kieran route, and then you would just be like, oh, what do I do with these? Well, you can make Totem Bird, or you can make Breaksword, which it really depended on the situation. If you're going second, you're making the Breaksword. If you're going first, you're making the Totem Bird. It sort of really it sort of solidified itself in the deck, even though it wasn't really that good. But it was still played a lot. A big eye, just you have a lot of level 7s. You might as well play this card. It seems like a logical choice. You're playing both Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and you're playing the Volflame, which makes this card pretty easy. Obviously, you're making Absolute Dragon because you want to go into your Vortex Dragon. Or in Calc, there's only one Metalfoes fusion monster that actually mattered. You really weren't playing Adamant, and you really weren't playing Crimsonite, because Crimsonite was a 3,000 attack monster that had no effect, and you required 3 monsters for it. So you weren't playing that card. Some people were playing Adamantite as like a optional like card to play, but the reason why this card was so good is not for the double piercing. Is that if it was sent to the graveyard, it just popped a card. It was kind of good in that sense. Unfortunately, it's kind of outdated today because of targets, and you really don't want to destroy your opponent's cards right now. But it was really good back then. I think you would still probably play one if the deck was at full strength today. So yeah, there's that. And you got the nice level 8 synchro packages with Stardust Spark Dragon, Ignister, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Void Ogre Dragon, and Ultima Azoken. Now, this card is interesting. It can't be synchro summoned, but it can be special summoned from the extra deck by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters from your with the same name to the graveyard. How that would work, how this was ruled, I'm not sure if it's still ruled like that today. But you would summon your Gofu, and then you would summon another level 5 monster, and then you would just go into this card, and then you would, if a spell or trap was sent or set to your field, except during the damage step, you would summon like a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster, which was literally any monster in your extra deck that was a Synchro monster. This would be the way that you would get Crystal Wing, because you weren't summoning this naturally, because there was really no way to do so. I'm not sure if it's still ruled the same way, but I don't know if there's any judges that watch this that would like to fill me in on that, but it was pretty good back then. That's how they ruled it then, and that's how they people played it. And it was good to set up your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon for another Omni Negate, and it was actually pretty consistently viable. Other contenders were Beals. You would also play Beals to make so that way you have a monster that couldn't really be killed, and it was just annoying to get over. So yeah. Other iterations of the deck would include True Draco Metalfoes, which you would play like Astrograph Sorcerer, Chronograph Sorcerer, a Masterpiece to make some super impressive negate boards. Some Masterpiece, and your opponent would just kind of lose because it can't get over that board, unless they were playing Smearmit, which was a super expensive card at the time. The Qliphort package still existed in that deck. I think the Majespecter package didn't exist because Kieran, I think, was banned before that, and I don't think people were playing the Mirage package because you would just make Vortex Dragon for free with Astrograph Sorcerer and all that stuff. So it really didn't matter that much that you didn't have Odd Eyes Fusion. So it is what it is. So if you guys did enjoy this brief history lesson of one of my favorite Pendulum decks in the entire game, I actually have a few videos based on this deck way back in the day. If you want to go watch them, I'd be more than happy to do. Feel free to do so. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.